Are you in a happy marriage with someone? Are you working together on a project? Chances are that you're married to your soulmate. But how can you know your marriage partner is your soulmate and not your twin flame? Stay tuned for answers. Today's topic is soulmates. You can have more than one soulmate. They could be your best friends, parents, children, co-workers, brothers and sisters, and your husband and wife. Today we'll focus on soulmates in marriages. Everybody wants to find their twin flame. That's the goal of life for many. However, did you know that a marriage with a soulmate often works better than a marriage with a twin flame? What? Seriously? Yes! More in a few minutes. As mentioned in video 1 of this series, I've taken the information for this video from these 3 books by spiritual teacher Elizabeth Clare Prophet. Soulmates and Twin Flames, Karma and Reincarnation, Finding a Higher Love. I'll add the links below this video in the video description. Okay, let's quickly take a look at the definition from Elizabeth Clare Prophet of what a soulmate is. Soulmates are learning the same lessons, dealing with a similar karma, and often work together for a common mission. In a sense, soulmates are playmates in the schoolroom of life. Soulmates come together because they are working on mastering the same type of karma and developing the energies of the same chakra. So soulmates have an attraction that is based on the sacred labor and on the path of self-mastery. The sacred labor is a soul's life calling, and many soulmates who marry each other share a similar stage of spiritual development. Did you know that Mary and Joseph, the parents of Jesus, were soulmates? Their task was to help Jesus become who he was and fulfill his life mission. And both of their twin flames were already ascended in helping them complete their own mission from heaven. Let's look at one more description of the soulmates from the Summit Lighthouse. Even though there may be a great attraction and bond between soulmates, fundamentally, in the ultimate sense, you could define it more as a brother-sister relationship, even though soulmates have great marriages and a great union of hearts. There is that sense of we're comrades, we're pilgrims on the path together, and what we're doing has to be done together. Soulmates may come together for several lifetimes and may feel a great tie. But if you really meditate at inner levels, you know that the soulmate relationship doesn't go as high or is not as profound as the one with the person who is your direct counterpart, the twin flame you have known as your other self. For example, your soul's purpose in this life could be to master and teach mathematics. Perhaps you had a co-worker who was interested in the same pursuit that you fell in love with and married. You may be giving presentations together and maybe even build math courses online. Both of you want to master math, and that's exactly what you're doing together. Something surprising that Elizabeth Clare Prophet said about soulmates is this. Frequently they have similar facial features and a similar type of physique. The various kinds of soulmate relationships often have a great harmony and a certain element of completeness. Therefore, soulmates can have strong, healthy marriages. That is something that I have noticed with some female fitness YouTubers I follow. Their husbands not only look like them, they may have the same hair color, eye color and body build, but they also help them accomplish their goals on YouTube and social media. They are very likely soulmates. You may wonder, if everything is working so well in soul marriages, why use the violet flame for this type of relationship? Well, every relationship can be improved. That would be one reason. The other reason is that most soulmate marriages are project-oriented, as we saw earlier. So whatever your mutual project may be, you can use the violet flame to make it better. However, this type of marriage is, in most cases, probably the easiest and requires less violet flame work than the others. Let's take a look at a real-life example from the book Finding a Higher Love by Elizabeth Clare Prophet. One woman quoted in this book shared this story. I was working in a Hebrew school on the East Coast. In addition to teaching, I also wrote children's stories about the prophets and leaders of the Old Testament. I loved my job and was totally immersed in it, so I wasn't even thinking much about man or marriage. Then a new teacher came to work there, but I didn't think much about it. He too was fascinated by the figures in the Bible, and he created beautiful, colorful slideshows about their lives to inspire the children. Soon after he began teaching at the school, somehow I often found myself around him, though I didn't plan it that way. I had some bad experiences with men, so frankly I was a little bit afraid of them. Therefore I tried to avoid this man, but he quietly entered my life. I began to notice how tender and sweet he was. Meanwhile, I found out later he was in a quandary. He was beginning to have feelings of love for me, but I seemed so standoffish and disinterested that he didn't know what to do because he didn't want to force himself on me. Finally, he decided to just ask me out to see what would happen. One Sunday morning, we went on our first outing together. We had a picnic in a little grove of trees not far from the school. It was a quiet meeting. We were both a little shy. But as I was sitting in his presence, I had a sense of joy, peace, and even just the tiniest bud of love. In due time, we married. The little bud of love blossomed into a perpetual bouquet. We both continued teaching at the Hebrew school and creating stories in written and visual form about the notable men and women in the Old Testament. We never had any children, but we consider our work and service as our children. Our marriage has been happy, harmonious, and extremely blessed. And even to this day, I still feel the same joy, peace, and love that I felt on that very first day when we had our picnic together in that little grove of trees. Having a soulmate by your side is one of the most beautiful situations you could be in. This doesn't necessarily mean, though, that you must marry your soulmate. I'd like to share my personal experience with a soulmate with you. This is about my friend who I call Nane. We have known each other for over 28 years and have been best friends for many, many years. It wasn't that we didn't have friendship issues, especially in our younger years, but most of the time it was very peaceful and nice. Nane is like a sister to me. She's family. She's been by my side in the worst times of my life and has never failed me. Just as I hope I've never failed her. Well, a couple of years ago we shared an apartment together and we had invited my family for breakfast on a Saturday. Early that morning I was doing my degree work and I was getting late. I still had to shower before they'd arrive. Nane offered to take care of preparing the table and the food so I could finish my degrees and shower. I was grateful for her selfless help. Then, in a flash, I knew we had been married in another lifetime, with myself as the husband and she as my wife doing the household tasks so I could take care of other things. I was astonished because until that point I had never had any conscious knowledge of us having spent a past life together. However, our friendship had been so natural that it wasn't a big surprise to have this knowledge of our past pop up all of a sudden. As I said, just because we have a soulmate that we feel close to doesn't mean that we're supposed to spend our whole lives with them or marry them. Elizabeth Clare Prophet says, "Sometimes people assume that just because they have found a soulmate, they are meant to have a romantic involvement with that person. When you find one person or more with whom you connect for the accomplishment of a worthwhile endeavor, you may indeed be soulmates, but that does not mean that it is automatically intended to be a romantic relationship. In fact, one may complete the project and be ready for the next step in life, which can involve an entirely new circle of people and perhaps another soulmate." Alright, so let's get to the bonus question. Why would a soulmate marriage work better than a twin flame relationship? Elizabeth explains it like this. Soulmate relationships can be less intense than twin flame relationships because soulmates don't have the same pain of the original separation from their divine partner and the subsequent lifetimes of being apart. While they're separated, twin flames may create a lot of negative karma, which could make their relationship more difficult and cause friction between them. I'll explain to you what is meant by original separation from their divine partner in the third video in this series, which is about twin flames. To summarize what Elizabeth said, often a soulmate relationship is more harmonious and easygoing than a twin flame relationship or a karmic marriage. A soulmate relationship often is smooth sailing, whereas a twin flame relationship can be quite stormy. However, you may have many soulmates, but you only have one twin flame. And at some point in this life or a future life, you're going to meet your twin flame and will have to work out whatever karma there may be between you, as well as enjoy the beauty and love of this very profound relationship. That's what I'm going to talk about in my next video. I hope you like this second video in this series on relationships. I'll add the books I quoted from in the description below this video. By the way, links included in this video may be affiliate links. If you purchase a product or service with the links that I provide, I may receive a small commission. This helps me to continue providing you with free content. Stay tuned for video 3 about twin flames. Thanks for watching and have a great Violet Flame day.